Los Angeles is a city defined by luxury. The skyline is a collection of glass penthouses, private elevators, and 24-hour concierge service. From the street, these buildings appear as impenetrable fortresses, guarded by biometric locks and closed-circuit networks. But the security that projects strength during the day creates a different reality after midnight. Behind heavy, soundproof doors, hundreds of residents sleep in complete isolation, unaware of the activity in the corridors just a few feet away. Tonight, we look at 3 true accounts submitted by viewers who experienced unexplainable anomalies inside these highly secure towers, events that the building's own systems recorded but could not prevent. These security measures are designed to keep the outside world out. However, they also ensure that when something does bypass the system, the residents are left entirely alone with it. Our first account comes from Ryan, an overnight security guard at a downtown tower. His job was defined by a rigid routine, an hourly patrol of every floor, followed by a return to the ground floor security office. At 2:40 a.m., Ryan noticed the private penthouse elevator moving. Only 3 residents had the keycards required to call it, and building logs showed none of them were home. The elevator began a steady descent from the top floor toward the lobby. The doors opened to an empty lobby. Ryan reset the system, but the elevator was immediately called again. As it traveled back up the shaft, it began pausing at various intermediate floors, though no one was standing in the hallways to press the buttons. Ryan pulled up the camera feed inside the cab. It was empty. Yet at every stop, the doors cycled open and closed, behaving as if it were picking up a series of passengers. When the cab finally reached the penthouse, the video feed cut to static. When the image cleared, a man in a black suit was standing inside the elevator, his back turned to the camera. A second guard sent to the floor found the hallway empty. There were no keycard records and no physical passenger. The suited man never appeared on the primary camera lens. He was only visible as a reflection in the metallic wall paneling behind the monitor. This was the first indication that high-rise security has a blind spot. A system built to track physical intruders has no protocol for a digital anomaly that leaves no physical footprint. Our second story comes from Olivia, who lived in a West Hollywood luxury apartment. Like many high-rises, her building offered a rooftop infinity pool, a space designed for quiet, private relaxation far above the city streets. Around midnight, Olivia went to the roof alone. The pool deck was silent, overlooking miles of city lights, with the water perfectly still under the night sky. As she sat by the edge, she heard the sound of slow, rhythmic swimming strokes. The surface of the water began to ripple, even though the pool appeared to be empty. Olivia then heard the sound of heavy breathing coming directly from the center of the dark water. The reflections of the city lights were breaking and shifting, clearly showing a physical disturbance in the pool with no visible source. When she stood to leave, wet footprints began to form on the concrete. One after another, they appeared at the pool's edge and walked toward her, stopping just 3 feet away. The next morning, management provided a detail that made the encounter impossible. According to maintenance records, the pool had been drained the previous evening for repairs. There shouldn't have been any water in it at all. Luxury amenities are designed to provide a private experience, removed from the public eye. But that privacy also means that when an event like this occurs, there are no other witnesses and no physical evidence left behind to explain what happened. Our final account comes from Daniel, an overnight concierge in Beverly Hills. His desk was the final checkpoint for the building, the human element meant to verify every person who entered. At 3:10 a.m., a man entered carrying designer luggage. He wore an expensive suit and looked exactly like a resident, yet Daniel's database showed no visitor reservation and no facial recognition match. The man didn't acknowledge Daniel's greeting. He walked straight to the elevators and entered. Daniel watched the internal camera as the doors closed, but when they opened moments later, the man had disappeared. Every monitor at the concierge desk then simultaneously changed. Each screen began displaying an identical feed of the 31st floor, a level that was still an unfinished construction site. On every screen, the suited man was standing at the end of a dark concrete corridor, staring directly into a camera that shouldn't have had any power. A search of the floor by police turned up nothing. However, the next morning, construction workers found fresh, muddy footprints leading from that hallway into every unfinished apartment. None of the tracks led back out. This represents a total failure of the building's logic. Surveillance systems and security protocols are designed for physical entities. They offer no protection against an intruder that doesn't follow the laws of the physical world. Daniel left the job very shortly after. Management eventually replaced the entire surveillance network, citing persistent recording anomalies, but providing no further details to the people living there. High-rise living offers a sense of being above it all, but that elevation comes with a cost. The higher you are above the street, the further you are from the help of the outside world. So if you find yourself waiting for an elevator in a high-rise tonight, pay attention to the space inside when the doors open. Even if it looks empty, you might not be alone.